1% of dudes rapping, they ain't nice as me. 98% ain't live the same type of life as me. The judge gave me life and then they sent me where the life is be. That level 4 with depth and vice, the type of stuff they like to see. Two choices, fight or flee. I refuse to die a chump. I never been a mark, but damn, it's scary when that riot jump. I seen dudes cry, get pumped, and some sexually brutalized. Knew a dude who lost his life and he was only doing 5 year-long racial fights when homie all you do is ride. Lonely days and nights up in a hole causing suicide. From the moment you arrive, you see the Mexican mafia, AB skinheads with big giant swastikas, pro-black philosophers, the BGF, the Kumi, and Muslims who will murk you from the nation to the Sunni. That MS was loony, quick to ride up on they rival. Even Christians went to church, hide knives up in a Bible. Political and tribal, the Crips and Damus, the Long Beach, the Hubs and the Dubs and the Grooves, the IE, the Bakersfield, the Dago Pyrus, the Hustlers quick to roll, the gangsters gon'
So we back at it with another video, man. And periodically in the comments, I'll get a lot of requests to do more content on the Asian car. So today's video is called, I'm doing a reaction to a video called How the Asians Move in Prison. And the name of his channel is Try Call Your Mama. That's TRI. Try Call Your Mama. So let's jump right up into this video.
Someone had asked me how do Asians move inside California prisons. Now there's no handbook, nothing's written down, but there's definitely rules to it. And inside prison, you come to learn really quick who to trust, when to speak, and when to stay quiet. And when it comes to the Asian card, man, it encompasses everyone. You got the Vietnamese, you got the Chinese, you got the Cambodians, the Filipinos, the Koreans. Man, I'm talking about everyone, all right? And usually because we're small, we try to keep the peace. But you got to remember, man, every yard is different. And in this video, I'm just going to talk about, you know, what I saw, what I went through, how I moved, and how we moved as Asians as a unit. Let's go. Now the Asian car, it falls underneath the umbrella of others, okay? So others basically means anyone that's not part of like the Hispanic car, the blacks, or the whites. You literally fall underneath the car of others because you don't fall within those 3 main groups, okay? And Asians is part of it. So you have the others as like the majority umbrella, then you have the Asians, right? Earlier, like I mentioned, Vietnamese, Chinese, Cambodians, etc.
And I just want to chime in here and say that a lot of these different Asian gangs on the street have beef with each other, serious beef. But like many other groups, when they come to prison, they realize the bigger picture is about protection of the race and everybody who falls up under that race. So they'll put what they have going on on the streets to the side in order to protect everybody of that race.
And then you also have the islanders, right? You got the Samoans, you got the Tongans, the Polynesians, you know, you have shoot, man, and don't forget there's Hmongs in there, you know, that ride with the Asians as well, right? We're all underneath the umbrella of others. Getting into the politics of things, because we aren't that large of a number, you know, our program is a little bit light, right? Usually we have a big structure. In order to keep things organized, you have to have certain guidelines and you have to follow it. And if you don't, then things fall apart. But because we're smaller in numbers, our program's a little bit more, it's not that it's not structured, it's a little bit, it's more freeing. And it's pretty simple. You work out, don't be a bum, you read, you exercise your mind, you exercise your body, stay away from debt, and the main thing is just don't bring heat to the car. If you don't bring heat to the car and you just follow the universal rules of prison, like have respect, don't stare, you know, don't step on someone's shoes, listen, don't cut anyone off, just the basic rules, then most likely you'll be okay.
Now, those rules that he just named, in all honesty, they pretty much apply to every single car. Like he said, those are some universal rules of prison. Now, other cars may have more detailed things that you can or you can't do, but those are the basics. Not only, I believe, in California, but I believe in any prison. You know, I was going to say any prison in America, but probably any prison period, because at the end of the day, everybody wants to be respected. You know, and the things that he named are very important. Just showing respect, staying out of debt, stuff like that.
And because our numbers are much smaller, our program's a little bit more free, right? You can share food with another car. You can receive food from another car. But even though those things can happen, I've never seen it and I've never done it. And usually when those kind of boundaries get crossed, then it becomes a little bit iffy. So the best thing to do when things are unclear is just stay away from it. So even though I might be able to receive food, let's say for example from someone in the black car, I stay away from things like that, because you just never know, by crossing that line something might happen. So the best rule of thumb is, if you're unsure, just avoid it overall. But here's the thing though, even though our program is light, like I said, one wrong move and we all feel it. And it's just a flip of a coin what might happen next. We might just take off, we might riot, and we might be on lockdown. So you just got to make sure that you're very aware and you understand the rules on each yard, because they differ going to different prisons and different yards. The first lesson I learned was on day number 1 when I went to prison. There was this Vietnamese guy, a little bit taller than me, very heavy set. You could tell he was just sloppy. He just loves to eat, didn't work out. And he came up to me, he was like, "Hey bro, you Vietnamese?" He was like, "Hey, yeah, you Vietnamese, dog. Like, there's not a lot of us Asians here in the yard, but Vietnamese, we're the deepest one, bro. Vietnamese, right?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm Vietnamese." He was just like, "Hey, there's this product, this bag. Can you order it for me?" And I was like, "Hey, what's up, bro?" Like,
now, in during time, in my opinion, I did a video a while ago saying the Asian car was the best car in prison, and that was just based on my experiences on seeing things and the camaraderie among them. They always seemed family oriented, so on and so forth. With that being said, though, to meet a dude and literally within a minute or so ask this dude to buy you something, or ask this dude to to get you something or whatever, that definitely seems sketchy to me, because it takes a period of time to form a bond. I've never or had anyone come up to me and say, "Hey, what's up, Chill? You from IE or you from Bannon? Hey, homie, you think you can get me them shoes?" So you have man, people who are trying to get over it in all cars, man. But let's hear more about what he's talking about.
"Order you something? I literally just met you, dog. Like, no, I'm not gonna buy you anything, homie." Like, "What? No, I'm cool, man." And he just walked off. I was like, okay, that was weird as hell. What the hell? Day number 2, he came over and did the same thing. He came over, he didn't put his arm around me this time, but he was like, "Hey, did you buy that thing?" And that thing was just literally like one of those like travel bags. It's a little plastic bag that has a zipper, and you can put like your hygiene products in there, your toothbrush, your toothpaste, floss, whatever the case is. You put it in that bag and you can kind of store it, and it keeps things organized. That's what he wanted to buy. So day number 2, he asked me the same thing. He's like, "Hey, did you buy that thing yet?" And I was like, "Bro, I told you I'm not buying you that stuff, man. I don't even know you, homie." And he was just like, "Oh, okay." He's kind of walking away. Hey, make sure you buy me that stuff, dog." And he walked away. So what the bro?
Yeah, that's kind of crazy, man. So he didn't told this dude twice. Basically, man, beat it, man. Act like Michael Jackson, man. And this dude is still, not necessarily demanding, but he's telling this dude, "Hey, yeah, make sure you get that stuff." So I don't know, man. I haven't seen this video, but it seems like dude is, either this dude is an aggressive panhandler, so to speak, or this dude is kind of, got a little mental problems. Because like I say, man, you run across people who are conniving in all races. And so let's keep going.
What the hell? Day number 3, I saw him on the yard, and he came over to me, did the exact same thing. This time I was like, "What?" And he asked me, "Hey, did you buy that thing yet? Like that thing I told you to like buy?" Usually when it comes to the Asians, and especially the Asians and the others as an overall, like I get along with everyone, okay? But you got to remember, I was broke. I didn't even have money to buy sandals, like shower shoes. I actually got gifted that from somebody else, and that's how broke I was. So for this guy, it felt like he was trying to like have me buy him something as if I owed him some money. I just met this guy. So for me, I took it as a sign of disrespect. And usually because the other car were so small in numbers, the relationships tend to be much more enriched. We usually have a more deeper connection with one another, and we know instantly who to trust and who not to trust. And that was somebody I did not want to know on any level. Even though we could be cordial, I did not want to know him. Even though he was Vietnamese, I didn't care. I felt like he was trying to bully me. So on day number 3, when he asked me the same thing, I literally I saw him on the bars, where we were working out at, and he came up beside me. He asked me that, and I just took off on him. Bam! Bing, 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 bing! I don't know what the rules are for everyone else, and even the Asian car, I didn't know the rules, but the one thing I did know is you never let anyone ever try to bully you or disrespect you, especially in your pockets. He was trying to pocket check me,
and he's 100% correct, right? Because even though the dude may have not got over physical, the dude may have not got extremely aggressive or verbally loud, man. What's cracking though, homie? I didn't told you 2-3 times, man. Leave me alone. I don't know you. And so for you to continue to come up to me and ask me to get you this, it definitely was a sign of disrespect, or at least that's how I would have taken it as well. I don't necessarily know if I would have took off on the dude, but I basically would have made it very, very clear that, hey, man, leave me alone and miss me with that conversation, but he done what he felt he needed to do.
I just took off on him. After we got into the fight, the CEO came over and we were both there, in the office. He was like, hey, man, are you guys cool? Are you guys going to be okay? Because I don't have any more open bunks. If you guys are cool, I'm going to place you guys back into your housing units. You guys cool? And I was like, hey, I don't have any problems. He looked at the other dude and he's like, I don't have any problems. From that day forward, we never freaking interacted again. We just kind of left it at that and just died out. But I did have to keep my head on a swivel from that guy. So when people ask about how Asians move, one thing I will say is that it just depends on the person. But overall, as a unit, we are very tight because of our small numbers. When it comes to the program, day to day, the routine is just steady. You wake up, you go to work, you read, you write your letters, you call home, you keep your area clean. You do whatever it is to keep your mind and your body right.
Once again, man, I have to agree with it 100%, right? And when I first came to the pen, I'm young, I'm a little wild, I'm definitely interested in the gang culture, like I love to say, back when I came to prison, it was before the YouTube, and so, you are hearing about more stuff than you are actually seeing about. So now you're on the yard, you're meeting all these different gang members and dudes who you possibly have heard names and gang stories of different hoods, and this stuff is intriguing. And honestly, these fights, these stabbings, as long as you're not the one getting beat up or stabbed, this stuff is fun. This stuff is fun to watch. You're passing your time, or at least I was. I accepted the reason that I was there. But then after about maybe the 14th or 15th year doing the same thing day in and day out, pretty much without fail, whether you would get up in the morning, go exercise, and then, or maybe you would get up in the morning and go to work and come back and exercise at 3:30. There's not much change in program outside of, maybe a fight on the yard or something happening to get people locked down, but just the same thing day in, day out, day in, day out. And being a lifer, not knowing when or if ever that was going to change, that is what for me eventually made me just get tired of prison. No good food, no females. After a while, man, prison is not cool.
Other programs might be a little bit more strict. You got the Southerners, their operations is tight. But for us, because our numbers are a little bit more smaller, it tends to be a little bit more light. And the main thing is just no freeloading and no drama. Even though the instance with that Vietnamese guy, was bad, there are a lot of good moments as well. And it reminds me of this Korean guy where I couldn't really work out with him because the yard just kept getting on lockdown. We were just on lockdown all the freaking time. It wasn't because of the others. It was just because of all the other ethnicities. They always riot. And eventually we get released, but then boom, another riot cracks off, and then the whole prison, our yard, would be on lockdown. So we were constantly inside of ourselves. Now, I just want to break down to you how our housing unit was set up so you can understand of, this next story here. Now, on our housing unit, it's a 180. I think it's called 180 housing unit. Okay, and basically means like 3 walls here, along this wall right here, all cells, all prison cells right here, and there's 2 levels, the first floor and then you got the second floor. Okay, and then right here you got like the command tower. This is where the cops hang out and they can guard everyone, they can see everyone, they could pop the doors open from here. This is the command center. And you know, I was over here with another Vietnamese dude named Tony, and there was this Korean guy down here with his cellie, and then there's like another 2 homies down here. So there was only 6 of us in this housing unit. So whenever everyone would like get out, you'll notice there was only 6 of us, and luckily I was right here, right next to the homie right here. And you know, because we were constantly on lockdown, we created like this workout program where we would work out every day. So you know, what we would do, I would go up to the door and I'll call out to him, "Hey, yo, let's work out, bro." Forgot his name. It's been so long, but I'll call out to him, "Woo! Hey, bro, let's work out." So whenever he's like ready to get down, what we would do is I would do like 10 push-ups. Right after I'm done doing 10 push-ups, I go up to the door, because the door has like, you know, like 2 or 3 foot in height and maybe about 6 inches in width, right? It's like a window made out of like thick plexiglass, and I can look out and I can see him. So after I do my 10, I go up to the door, he'll see me, and then he'll bust his 10. And then we go back and forth, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, and be non-stop. And we used to keep going. And eventually we got up to the point where we did 2,000 push-ups in that session. And it was so freaking dope, because we were constantly on lockdown. But even though we were locked down, I still was able to build this relationship with the homie through this workout. And you know, it's the small things that inside the prison that are dear to us, you know, even though we're locked inside this box. So even though you got homies that might be scandalous, like the Vietnamese dude trying to punk me or punk another homie out for something else, you can build a relationship and you know who to trust based on little, you know, moments like that. Like
what he's saying is 100% correct, man. I just done a video yesterday, a great video talking about a friend of mine who I was locked up with. I think it's called, he had 103 years, from 103 years to life to freedom, or something along those lines. And I was saying the same thing, man. We had done so much time together, a lot of us in the same building and on the same yard, that eventually you develop like a bond, you know. And it varies from convict to convict, right? When you ask them this question, were there good moments in prison, right? Did you have fun in prison? And for me, definitely, yes, there was good moments, and there was times I actually had fun. And once again, I believe that the answer varies depending on the headspace that the person is in. You know, I remember one individual, I'm not going to say his name, but this dude was constantly mad about everything. The smallest thing would make this dude mad. And to me, it was just like, how can you do time like that when you already, you know, you already confined, and you don't have nearly as much as you would in a free situation, but now you're letting every little thing make you mad, man. The dude called me out one day to play pinochle, and then he wanted to play for push-ups because he had never saw me play, so I'm assuming he felt that I didn't know how to play. When he lost and had to get down and do push-ups, he got mad about that. I mean, every little thing would make this dude mad. And so it just all depends. But to me, being in that situation and being mad every day, 4 or 5 times a day, it seemed like it would have just added more misery to the situation.
Fitness and working out with somebody else. There's this other like memory that I can think of, and it reminds me of my cellie. His name was Tony. It was a Vietnamese guy from SGV, San Gabriel Valley, and you know, he was a little off on his head. Every day he would take his meds. They'll pop the door open, he'll go out, he'll take his meds, he'll come back in 9 o'clock, he'll be knocked out because of the medication that they give him. But I remember there was a time he went out to the yard, and the USO, the rep for the others, he gave him some tobacco, like cigarettes, right? But it was like loose tobacco, and he slid it to the homie Tony. We got back to the cell, and I remember it was so funny because he would read the Bible every single day, And when he finally got like the loose tobacco, it was like one of those small little library Bibles. And what he did was he ripped out a page, he sprinkled out the tobacco in there, he rolled it up like a little joint, licked it, and he'll use like the light inside the cell, and he'll spark it up, and he'll smoke. And it was actually through those cigarettes where me and Tony actually became really cool. But before that, we were living together for like damn near 9 months, and we hardly talked. That's all I knew about him, was that he lived in SGV, and that was it. I didn't really know anything else, but it was through that cigarette where it kind of changed things, and me and him start to open it up a little bit more. Looking back,
That's crazy right there, right? Because normally when I would go in a cell with a dude who I didn't know or whatever, you guys have a little filling out period, a little get to knowing each other period where, you just, when you're in the cell, you talk, hey man, what's up? What was you doing out there? Where you from? So on and so forth. You get to know a little bit about each other. A dude may be from a particular neighborhood, and you say, hey, well, yeah, I was locked up at the last pen with your homie such and such and such. And so for 9 months to be in a cell and not have much to say, that's different right there, right? It got to a point with me and my cellies, after we talked for a little bit, I would enjoy my peace and tranquility, since you're unable to get that on the yard, but me and my cellies, we always had a good relationship, because when you're living in pretty much a gas station bathroom, you have to be comfortable, right? And he said the smoking of the cigarettes brought them together. I remember when I first got to the county jail, I don't smoke, man, but when I seen dudes tearing up the Bible like he was talking about to roll up cigarettes, I thought, man, this is crazy. And eventually, because when you come there, they give you a little, in the county jail in Riverside County, they give you a property box, and it has a little Bible. One dude said, hey man, let me get your Bible. I need some cigarette paper. And even though I wouldn't read the Bible, I said, man, hell no, I'm not just to give you, my Bible so you can tear out the pages, and smoke you some cigarettes, man. I'm not just to be included on your trip to hell for that. I got enough on my plate that God has already gonna smack me across the head and frown down on me for. I'm not just to include tearing up the Bible either, man. But yeah, that goes on often.
I met a lot of people. I met a lot of good people, a lot of bad, some funny, some very creative. And it taught me one thing that I still hold very true to this day. And it's like, the smaller your world gets, the more real people become. And it's kind of like when your circle is so small, you get to see them for who they are. You get to see their habits, their moods, what makes them smile, who they are as a human being. And
I definitely agree with that as well, man. And I'm gonna wrap this video up right here. Once again, the name of his page is Try Call You Mama. He's spelling that TRI, and then everything, normal spelling on everything else. Try Call Your Mama, man. And so yeah, this dude, in my opinion, he gave a pretty accurate account of how the Asians do their prison time, and especially from what I saw. Like I say, once again, they were deeply family oriented. They got along. They didn't cause much riffraff. You wouldn't see them get into, well, actually, you wouldn't see them get into it with each other, or get into it among themselves. A lot of inner car dissension, as you would with other races, So yeah, they definitely was always out of the way, respectful, and they was fiercely loyal to each other. That's definitely one thing that I gathered from doing time with the Asians. But anyway, you already know who it is. It's your boy 16 to Life. Resume normal program.